In the beginning there was only darkness, until light burst forth. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. On the second day, he separated the waters to create the sky. Day 3, God gathered the waters together, revealing dry land and sprouting plants of every kind. Next, he filled the sky with the sun, moon, and stars to light up the heavens. And on the 5th day, the oceans teemed with fish, and the skies burst with birds. Finally, on the 6th day, God created animals to roam the land and humans in his own image. And he saw that it was very good. In just 6 days, the world transformed from chaos to a masterpiece. Isn't that amazing?
Exposing the magic in the very first chapter of Genesis, ready to be amazed? In the beginning there was nothing. Then God said, "Let there be light," and boom, light appeared. Imagine the universe lighting up for the first time. Wow, right? Soon God separated the light from the darkness, calling them day and night. Then he made the sky, land and seas, each with a single command. Plants, trees and flowers sprang to life, filling the earth with color. But wait, there's more. God created the sun, moon and stars to light up the sky. Birds started flying, fish swam in the seas, and animals roamed the earth. Finally, God made humans in his own image. He saw it was all good. And on the 7th day, God rested. What a journey, right? That's Genesis chapter 1, the start of everything. Feeling inspired?
Why do 100% of humans face temptation? Because of a story that started in a garden. In Genesis chapter 3, we meet Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. They're living the dream, until the serpent shows up. This crafty creature convinces Eve to eat from the forbidden tree. She takes a bite, then shares it with Adam. Suddenly they realize they're naked and feel shame. They hide from God, but you can't hide from the Creator forever. God finds them, hears their story, and consequences follow. The serpent's cursed, Eve faces pain in childbirth, and Adam must toil for his food. And just like that, paradise is lost. But even in their mistake, God shows grace. He clothes them and promises redemption. Temptation and fall, a story as old as time, yet still so relevant today.
I don't think people understand just how dramatic the story of Cain and Abel really is. So, Adam and Eve had 2 sons. Cain, the elder, was a farmer, and Abel, the younger, was a shepherd. One day, they both brought offerings to God. Abel brought his best lambs, and Cain brought some crops. God was pleased with Abel's offering, but not with Cain's. This made Cain furious. God warned Cain to keep his cool. But Cain didn't listen. Instead, he took Abel out to a field and tragically killed him. When God asked Cain where Abel was, Cain replied with the famous line, Am I my brother's keeper?" God knew what Cain had done and cursed him to wander the earth, but even then, God showed mercy. He marked Cain so no one would harm him. And that's the story of the first sibling rivalry, and a powerful reminder about jealousy, anger, and forgiveness.
Curious about the roots of humanity? Join us as we explore Genesis chapter 5 and uncover Adam's family tree. Genesis 5 takes us through the generations, starting with Adam, created in God's own image. Adam lived 930 years and fathered Seth. Seth, living up to 912 years, carried on the legacy with his son Enosh. The lineage flows through Kenan, Mahalalel, and Jared, each living remarkable long lives, preserving the divine connection. Then comes Enoch, who walked faithfully with God. Instead of dying, Enoch was taken by God at 365 years old. A truly special figure. Enoch's son Methuselah holds the record, living 969 years, the oldest man in the Bible. Finally, we reach Noah, who would play a monumental role in humanity's story. Genesis chapter 5 isn't just a list of names, it's a tale of faith, longevity, and divine purpose. Each name reminds us that we're part of a story much bigger than ourselves. Dive into Genesis and discover your place in this epic lineage.
Hit like and subscribe for more amazing stories. Genesis 6, it's one of the most fascinating and controversial chapters in the Bible. So, let's dive in. In the opening verses, we find humanity multiplying on the earth, but something strange is happening. The sons of God saw the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them as wives. This phrase, sons of God, has sparked countless debates. Some say they were fallen angels, others think they were godly men from the line of Seth. But here's the kicker. Their union produced giants, known as the Nephilim. Now, who were these Nephilim? The Bible describes them as mighty men of old, men of renown. They were not just tall or strong. They were legendary figures. Imagine a time when giants roamed the earth. It sounds like something out of a myth, but it's right there in Genesis 6. But the story takes a darker turn. God saw the wickedness of humanity, that every thought of their heart was only evil continually. He regretted creating man and decided to cleanse the earth with a great flood. Yet in the midst of this corruption, one man stood out, Noah. Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. He was righteous and blameless in his generation. God chose Noah to build an ark and save his family, along with pairs of every living creature. It was a monumental task, but Noah obeyed without question. And so, the stage was set for one of the most dramatic events in biblical history, the Great Flood, a flood that would wipe out the wickedness of humanity and give the world a fresh start. Genesis 6 is more than a story. It's a profound lesson about faith, obedience, and the consequences of sin. It challenges us to reflect on our lives and our relationship with God. So what do you think about the Nephilim and the Great Flood? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more biblical insights. Until next time, keep exploring the Word. Hey, spiritual seekers! Ever wondered how one family changed the world? Stick around for the epic tale of Noah's Ark. It all started with Noah, a righteous man in a time of great wickedness. God saw the evil in the world and decided to cleanse it with a flood, but he had a plan for Noah and his family. God told Noah to build an ark, a massive boat. He gave Noah exact instructions, and Noah followed them perfectly. He gathered his family and pairs of every animal, from elephants to tiny sparrows. Then the rains came. For 40 days and 40 nights it poured. Waters rose and covered the earth, but Noah's ark floated safely on the surface. When the rain finally stopped, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. Noah and his family stepped out to a new beginning, a fresh start for all humanity. So if you ever feel overwhelmed, remember Noah's faith and perseverance. Sometimes you just need to weather the storm. I will show you how the Great Flood came to an end. It's a tale of faith, survival, and new life. After 150 days of flooding, God remembered Noah and all the animals in the ark. He sent a wind to dry up the water, and the ark rested on Mount Ararat. Noah waited patiently, sending out a raven and then a dove to see if the land was dry. When the dove returned with an olive leaf, Noah knew it was safe. God told Noah to leave the ark. So Noah, his family, and all the animals stepped out into a fresh new world. Noah built an altar to thank God, and God made a promise. Never again would he flood the earth. He set a rainbow in the sky as a sign of this covenant. Genesis chapter 8 is a beautiful reminder of hope and renewal. Stay tuned for more chapters, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm sure you've heard the news. Rainbows are more than just pretty colors in the sky. Let's find out why. In Genesis chapter 9, after the Great Flood, God made a special promise to Noah and all of us. He said he'd never flood the earth again. And he gave us a beautiful sign to remember this promise, the rainbow. Every time you see a rainbow, think of it as a reminder of God's covenant, a promise of peace and protection. It's like a giant hug from above saying, I've got you covered. But that's not all. Genesis 9 also tells us about the importance of respecting life and building a world based on love and trust. So next time you see those vibrant colors in the sky, take a moment to reflect on this divine assurance and the values it stands for. Remember, a rainbow isn't just a splash of colors, it's a symbol of hope and God's everlasting promise.
If you love history and the Bible, you need to know Genesis chapter 10. It's like a family album of nations. Genesis chapter 10 is often called the Table of Nations. It's like a big family tree, showing us how Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, started different nations. Japheth's line spread out to Europe and Asia, Ham's descendants went to Africa and parts of the Middle East, and Shem's family stayed mostly in the Middle East. Ever heard of the term Semitic? That's from Shem. This chapter isn't just a list of names, it's about how people spread out and formed cultures after the flood. For example, Nimrod, a descendant of Ham, founded cities like Babylon and Nineveh. Cool, right? So next time you read Genesis chapter 10, think of it as an ancient map showing us the roots of our world today. Amazing how it all connects, isn't it? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more biblical breakdown.
Curious how languages came to be, well, let's find out with the Tower of Babel story from Genesis. So, back in the day, everyone on Earth spoke the same language. People decided to build a city with a tower reaching up to the sky, right in the land of Shinar. They wanted to make a name for themselves and stick together. But God saw what they were doing and said, if they all speak the same language and work together, nothing will be impossible for them. So what did God do? He confused their language so they couldn't understand each other anymore. The people stopped building the city and scattered all over the world. The place was called Babel, which means confusion. That's why we have so many languages today. Pretty cool, right? And that's a quick look at the Tower of Babel from Genesis 11. If you think faith is just a word, but still long for something more, then follow Abram's incredible journey. In Genesis 12, a man named Abram hears a voice. It's God calling him to leave everything behind, his country, his people, his father's household, and journey to an unknown land. God promises Abram three things: a great nation, a blessed name, and that all families on earth will be blessed through him. Can you imagine the faith it took to heed that call? Abram packs up, takes his wife Sarai and nephew Lot, and sets off, trusting in the divine promise. His journey isn't just about geography, it's about faith, obedience, and the beginning of a covenant that shapes history. So the next time you're faced with the unknown, remember Abram's journey. Sometimes the greatest adventures start with a leap of faith. Are you ready to take yours? If your decisions are guided by faith, you're on the right path. Journey with Abraham and Lot to see why. So there's Abraham and his nephew Lot. God blessed them both with wealth and herds, but oh no, their land couldn't support them together. Tension rose between their herdsmen. What to do? Abraham the peacemaker said to Lot, let's not fight, the whole land is open, you choose first. Lot looked around, saw lush lands near the Jordan and went there. Abraham stayed in Canaan. Here's the kicker. God reaffirmed his promise to Abraham. Look around, he said. All this land will be yours, your descendants will be countless. So, what's the takeaway? Abraham chose peace and faith over conflict, and God provided. Sometimes stepping back can move you forward. Faith, family, and wise decisions, that's the legacy of Abraham and Lot. What decisions will your faith guide you to make today?
I will never doubt the power of faith after learning this. Or you need to watch this if you struggle with courage. Picture this. It's the ancient Middle East, and 4 powerful kings have gone rogue, wreaking havoc on the land. They capture Lot, Abram's nephew, and all seems lost. But wait, enter Abram, our unlikely hero. With just 318 men, Abram launches a daring rescue mission. Against all odds, he defeats the kings and rescues Lot. Talk about faith in action, but the story doesn't end there. Enter Melchizedek, the mysterious king and priest. He blesses Abram and offers him bread and wine, symbolizing divine favor. Abram in turn gives him a tenth of everything, showing honor and gratitude. This chapter is a powerful reminder of the strength of faith, the importance of courage, and the blessings that come from trusting in a higher power. So next time you're feeling overwhelmed, remember the epic tale of Genesis 14. Stay inspired and keep the faith.
Why do so many people find hope in Genesis 15? Today we'll dive into this divine covenant. In Genesis 15, Abram is feeling uncertain about his future. God speaks to him in a vision saying, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward." Imagine the comfort in those words. Abram questions how he can be blessed without children. God then takes him outside and says, "Look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them." He promises Abram that his descendants will be as numerous as the stars, and here's the best part. Abram believes God, and this faith is credited to him as righteousness. It's a moment that shows the beauty of trust and the power of divine promises. So remember, no matter how uncertain things may seem, there's always a promise shining bright just like the stars. Dive into Genesis chapter 15 and find your own spark of hope today. This is going to blow your mind. Hagar's journey in Genesis 16 is one unforgettable ride. Hagar was an Egyptian servant to Sarai and Abram. But when Sarai couldn't have children, she gave Hagar to Abram as a second wife. Hagar soon found herself pregnant, but this only led to tension and mistreatment. Feeling hopeless, she fled into the desert. But here's where the story takes a turn. An angel of the Lord appeared to Hagar by a spring of water, bringing a message of hope. The angel told her to return to Sarai and promised that her son Ishmael would become the father of a great nation. Hagar named the Lord who spoke to her El Roi, meaning the God who sees me. She realized she was never truly alone. Ishmael's birth was a testament to God's promise and care, even in the toughest times. So next time you feel unseen, remember Hagar's story. Sometimes hope finds us right where we are. Ready for a story that redefined faith? Let's explore Genesis 17. In Genesis 17, God makes a powerful promise to Abram. He changes Abram's name to Abraham, meaning father of many nations. Imagine that! From a single man to the ancestor of countless generations, God also gives Sarai a new name, Sarah. And despite her old age, he promises she'll bear a son, Isaac. Talk about a miracle. But it's not just about names and promises. This chapter is a turning point. It's about faith, trust, and believing in the impossible. Genesis 17 shows us that with faith, even the most unlikely dreams can come true. So, whether you're seeking hope, inspiration, or just a good story, Genesis 17 has got you covered. Feeling inspired? Dive into your journey of faith today. This is why you need to be ready for anything, even divine visitors. Abraham was chilling by his tent when 3 mysterious men appeared. Little did he know they were angels sent by God. As a good host, Abraham welcomed them warmly. Over lunch, they dropped a bombshell. His wife Sarah would have a son. Now Sarah was eavesdropping and laughed. Hard to blame her, she was 90. But nothing's impossible with God, right? Then things got serious. God revealed his plans to Abraham. He was going to check out Sodom and Gomorrah. Spoiler alert, they were in big trouble due to their wickedness. Here's where it gets intense. Abraham boldly interceded for Sodom. He asked, "Will you spare the city if there are 50 righteous people?" God said yes. They haggled down to 10. God's mercy knows no bounds. Genesis 18 shows us hospitality, faith in the impossible, and the power of intercession. So keep your heart open. You never know when divine visitors might drop by. What's something people don't know about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? It's more than just fire and brimstone. These ancient cities were known for their wickedness. In Genesis chapter 19, we see the climax of their story. God sends 2 angels to warn Lot, the only righteous man left. They tell him to flee with his family, because destruction is imminent. But here's the twist. Lot's wife looks back as they escape and is turned into a pillar of salt. It's a powerful moment that shows the danger of clinging to a sinful past. Sodom and Gomorrah's fate is sealed with fire and brimstone raining down from the heavens. The cities are completely destroyed. This story isn't just about divine judgment, it's a reminder of the importance of righteousness and the dire consequences of turning away from it. Thanks for joining us on this epic journey through ancient history. Like and subscribe for more fascinating tales from the Bible. What I wish I knew about ancient stories. They're full of unexpected twists and divine interventions. So Genesis chapter 20. Abraham and Sarah are in Gerar, and guess what? Abraham tells everyone Sarah is his sister. Why? To save his own skin, afraid they'd kill him for his beautiful wife. Enter Abimelech the king, who innocently takes Sarah into his palace. But hold on, God steps in. He appears to Abimelech in a dream, saying, "You're a dead man." Yikes. Abimelech, totally shocked, pleads his innocence. God acknowledges his honesty, but orders him to return Sarah and ask Abraham to pray for him. Abimelech complies, giving Abraham animals, servants, and silver as a peace offering. Abraham prays, and God heals Abimelech and his household. Lesson learned: deception can lead to divine intervention. Next time, trust a bit more, deceive a bit less. Until then, keep exploring those ancient tales. Am I the only one that didn't know about the miracle baby of the Bible? Oh, well, get ready to be inspired. In Genesis chapter 21, we find an incredible story of faith and promise. Abraham and Sarah had waited years, even decades, for a child. And just when they thought it was impossible, God fulfilled his promise. Sarah gave birth to a baby boy named Isaac, which means laughter. They laughed with joy because their dream finally came true. This miracle showed that nothing is too hard for God. Isaac's birth wasn't just a happy moment for Abraham and Sarah, but a powerful reminder that hope and faith can lead to amazing things. So remember, sometimes the best things in life are worth waiting for. Keep believing and your miracle might be just around the corner. You need to hear this if you're searching for faith. This story might just change your life. In Genesis 22, God tests Abraham's faith like never before. He asks Abraham to offer his beloved son Isaac as a sacrifice. Abraham, heart heavy but faithful, takes Isaac to Mount Moriah. At the last moment, an angel stops him. God provides a ram instead. This powerful story isn't just about sacrifice, it's about trust, faith, and the belief that even in the hardest times there's a divine plan. Abraham's unwavering faith is a beacon of hope and inspiration. Remember, sometimes the greatest tests lead to the most profound blessings. Stay strong, keep faith, and believe in the journey. I bet you didn't know that Sarah's burial in Genesis 23 isn't just a sad farewell, but a powerful legacy. Let's explore why. In Genesis 23, Sarah, Abraham's beloved wife, passes away at the age of 127. But it's not just about her death, it's about the faith and legacy she left behind. Abraham buys the cave of Machpelah to bury Sarah, marking the first piece of the promised land owned by his family. This act of purchasing the land wasn't just a transaction, it was a declaration of faith in God's promises. Sarah's burial site became a symbol of hope and God's faithfulness to his people. It reminds us that even in moments of loss, our faith can pave the way for future generations. So next time you read Genesis 23, remember, Sarah's legacy isn't just in her life, but in the powerful promise of faith she left behind. Stay inspired and keep the faith. Why are there not more people talking about the love story of Isaac and Rebekah? It's a tale of faith, destiny, and divine guidance. Abraham wanted a wife for his son Isaac, but not just any wife. He sent his servant on a mission, trusting God to guide the way. The servant prayed for a sign. Whoever offered him and his camels water would be the one. Enter Rebekah. She not only offered water, but showed kindness and generosity. Boom! Divine match confirmed. This wasn't just love at first sight, it was love orchestrated by faith and prayer. Rebekah agreed to marry Isaac, leaving her home behind. When they met, it was like pieces of a puzzle falling into place. Isaac loved Rebekah, and she comforted him after his mother's death. Faith, love, and divine guidance, three powerful themes wrapped in one beautiful story. Genesis 24 isn't just ancient history, it's a timeless reminder that true love finds a way when guided by faith. If you're curious about Abraham's legacy, stick around as we explore Genesis chapter 25. In Genesis chapter 25, we see the final chapters of Abraham's life. He remarries a woman named Keturah and has 6 more sons, but his promises to Isaac remain unchanged. When Abraham dies at 175 years old, Isaac and Ishmael come together to bury him. This chapter also gives us a genealogy of Ishmael's descendants, establishing the 12 princes he fathered. But the spotlight soon shifts to Isaac and Rebekah. After years of waiting, Rebekah finally conceives twins, Esau and Jacob, who will play pivotal roles in biblical history. From sibling rivalry to national destinies, Genesis chapter 25 is a cornerstone in understanding the roots of nations and the fulfillment of God's promises. So next time you wonder about the origins of key biblical figures, remember there's always more to the story.
For daily Bible-related content, like and subscribe.